Did you know that you can create stunning, hyper-realistic metallic effects with colored pencils without using actual specialty metallic pigments? You can, and it's easy once you know the right steps and some pro blending tricks. Today, I will show you silver. This is another one in my series of different color metals, and just like with gold, I have a brand new coloring page for you and a quick demo. The new page is a free gift for everyone, so go grab it. The link is below, or you can click this QR code. I printed mine on light gray toned cardstock paper this time. In fact, this paper is so lightly toned, it almost looks white on camera. But once I start applying white pigment to it, it becomes pretty obvious pretty quick that it's actually gray. Now, about this stuff. After the last few videos that I released on fun metallic effects, a bunch of people nearly lost their minds over what the heck is white charcoal anyway. Some of you are very passionate about it, and I'm with you guys. The name is, for the lack of a better word, stupid. There is no such thing as compressed charcoal that's actually white. It's just a name that stuck. I didn't make it up, but this is the name for the tool that I'm using, and I'll drop a link below so that you can grab it too. And I hope you do, because it's actually pretty amazing. White charcoal is neither a colored pencil nor a pastel, nor, as we just determined, an actual charcoal. It's a special mix of chalk, a pigment, and binder, and it's its own formula. I think they started calling it charcoal because originally it came only in this stick form, which I actually prefer, but it's getting harder and harder to find. White charcoal pencils, however, are very commonly available. I like this stuff better than regular white colored pencils because the pigment is actually stronger. And it's also powdery enough for me to use a paintbrush on it to fan it out. Yet, it's sticky enough to bind to the page for us to layer colors over it. Worry not though, if you don't have white charcoal, a regular white pencil will work for this step as well. All we want to do here is establish our highlights. Obviously, if you're already working on white paper, you can skip this step and go straight to your first dark gray. For my dark gray, I selected 70% cool gray from my Prismacolor set. If you're working with a different brand, find something comparable, but don't worry about matching it perfectly. Silver is fun to color because it's so forgiving. And as you'll discover throughout this video, requires a very different approach from gold, which is freaky. You'd think that all you'd have to do is swap your yellow pencils for gray ones, but the blending techniques here are actually quite different. Why is that? Well, silver is different from gold in more ways than just color. It reflects differently, and when highly polished, it can be as reflective as a mirror. In fact, that's what mirrors used to be, pure polished silver. Gold never gets that reflective. Because silver is so highly reflective, it will display many more different hues than gold ever can. And that's why we have so much leeway. You see, as long as you follow my steps of light and dark color application and blending, your silver will also look amazing, even if your colors are completely different. Maybe your silver is just reflecting a different environment. For instance, I've already colored the rest of the bust and the ribbon with many brownish and purplish hues. So for me, it makes sense to infuse my silver with a little bit of brown, purple, and dusty rose pencils. You may want to add blue colors instead. Maybe you're outside and you want to reflect the sky. Blue makes perfect sense then. Maybe you're outside and you want to reflect grass. Come in with actual green in that case. In my Metallics Effects Masterclass, I teach reflections on every color metal that exists on the metallic color triangle. And on that note, I am so thrilled to see more and more of you joining and praising that course. It's one of my most elaborate and involved programs in the Academy. Actually, it's really 6 full-length courses in one. It's epic. Metals of Different Colors is just one chapter in it. So if you've been on the fence about joining, don't sit around doubting and wondering. Join the Academy. It's completely free to join. It's free to start any course. Give it a taste. See if it's something that you want to truly master. And talk to other students. We're an open and free community. Mingle, ask questions, see what others are creating after just a few lessons. And if it's still not for you, no worries. Everyone is welcome to hang out and just chill. I want you to learn and to succeed by any means that suit your lifestyle. This right here is when silver magic actually happens. Our first blender pencil. For my blender, I chose a light gray. Your Prismacolor white will also work as a blender on silver at any point during the coloring, and you'll see me bring it in later. This step is all about smoothing out the actual wax texture of our pencil. So a couple of things are important to be mindful of. First, be mindful of pressure. We still have many colors to add to this, so we don't want to burnish the page early on. We can achieve the same smoothness with layering and going back and forth with our light and dark grays, but never pressure. To help reduce pressure, hold your pencil further back and hold it nearly flat against the page. More strokes are better than heavy strokes. The second thing to keep in mind is the direction of our shading. This is a silk fabric, and shading along it rather than across or crosshatch or in tiny circular motions will go a long way in establishing a realistic look. Remember I talked about reflections? I already established a warm light cast on the subject from the right, so it's important to see that through on the whole thing. Yes, even on the silver. These bright yellow hues that I'm bringing in now have nothing to do with the actual color of the metal. They are 100% reflections. So you see, there's no one formula for coloring silver, the way that we have with gold. It's just too mirror-like to follow rules. Any color is possible to see on silver. The important thing is to establish high contrast, and that's why I'm coming in with my dark brown now. One thing that I personally like to do on silver coloring is mix warm and cool tones. That way I will always have that cool metallic undertone, but I'm also saying this is reflecting the world in its natural light. And now I'm coming in with my Prismacolor white. You're probably starting to notice a pattern here. It's never a question of, do I start with light colors first and then build up darker ones, or the other way around, but rather an ongoing back and forth. The light hues that we bring in on silver serve as blenders, but they also dull down the stronger colors. That's when we bring our dark pencils back to sharpen up details and increase contrast. And the fortunate side effect of all this is the more pigments we layer, the smoother the surface becomes, thus naturally looking metallic. All of this is, of course, predicated on the assumption that we didn't mush the surface of the page to begin with. Once we do that, we can no longer layer indefinitely. So yeah, this technique will take some practice to master. So go grab that free page and color along with me. Watch this video again, pause and play and try this effect yourself. Do it several times too, trying different pencils every time to see what works best for your desired effect. Go grab more pages too. In our pages and books section in the Academy, you'll find all the recent free gifts, each with a video tutorial like this one. And of course, all of my students saw this coming. We must now come in with solid black for that high metallic contrast. We have so many layers of wax pencils already established on this ribbon that when I slide my pencil tip left and right, it almost feels like I'm ice skating. It is so smooth and pleasant and satisfying. Notice also the larger choices that I've made here. Aside from consistent lighting all around, I also chose to keep the scarf that's wrapped around her neck slightly darker than the fabric covering her mouth. That's because of the shadow cast by her chin. Additionally, the lighter fabric over her mouth naturally guides the viewer's gaze to that part of the composition, which is of course exactly what we want. That's the most important part of the story. As an artist, you tell the audience where to look and how to feel about it with your color and contrast choices. This looks nearly done, but maybe some things got muted or blended or colored over in the process, elements that you wanted to remain pure white that suddenly aren't that pure white anymore. If that happened, which is very common, or if you simply want more high definition and solid white reflections on your silver, what I like to do is come in with just a few brush strokes of white acrylic paint. No water, just dry brush. And add them generally over the lightest parts of the fabric. This step is subtle but very effective. Devil's in the details, I always say. All these little things come together to perfection, using slightly toned paper, selecting the right pencil brand, mastering the proper blending and layering techniques. It's a combination of many tiny perfected steps and decisions. How do you get to the point where you make your own decisions like these? That's practice, my friend. Practice. Don't stop at this one project either. Try something different. Now that you know how to color a silver ribbon, check out this video on rose-colored metals. Every colorful metal displayed on a different object will follow its own rules of color application, light and shadow, reflection and shine. And being able to apply these effects to different coloring pages is like unlocking a superpower.